differentiate bad hackers from good hackers or ethical hackers is bad hackers do that to cause damage, theft, fraud, or disruption of any kind, whereas ethical hackers use those skills in order to break into a company network with the authorization of the company in order to find the loopholes, the vulnerabilities which the company has. That's being followed up by a report and by mitigation advice in order to close those vulnerabilities down before a real hacker or a bad hacker can do the same thing but with a malicious intent. Bad hackers usually tend to have a bad police record. So this is like one of the most, it's not as plain as black and white as that, but it is usually like an indication at least on whether you're dealing with a good guy or with a bad guy. Usually a good background check or a police record typically helps companies to get confidence that that person is not a bad guy, that person is a good guy. I mean, the internal employee can be worse than a hacker because the internal employee has a lot of access to confidential information and could sell that to the competition. Now what you try as a human resource department to avoid that is you screen the people before you hire them. And it's pretty much the same process with an ethical hacker. Before you engage an ethical hacker, you have a tight confidential agreement, non-disclosure agreement, as you would do it with a normal employee as well. A lot of the guys who are now security experts, let me just give you one example. There's a guy called Kevin Mitnick.
Yes, I read about him.
And so Kevin Mitnick was one of, I would say, like one of the best hackers the world has ever seen. And he spent time in jail. He was hunted down.
Years or so.
He was hunted down by the FBI, and what happened at the end of the day is now he runs his own cybersecurity firm and helps businesses and helps governments in order to secure infrastructures. So this is a classical example of a black hat turning into a white hat, regardless of the size of your business. Are you a business who doesn't use a laptop, an iPhone, an iPad, any mobile device, and you're one of the old-fashioned businesses where you have, you know, like everything on paper, you may consider to not have an ethical hacker employed or getting your systems tested. In the minute you use IT systems, you're vulnerable to theft, fraud, and other activities.